Season 4 Reloaded of Call of Duty Black Ops 7 Endgame brought us Act 4, Operation Kingkiller. It's apparently time to end this once and for all. We are after a prime target, but not the one you're expecting. I think they heard me when I said that Act 3 was far too easy with all the steps in Zone 1 and 2. Right out of the gate, they land us in Zone 3 with a first challenge to destroy a VTOL with a melee weapon. I have not even done that in my regular gameplay, so well played, Call of Duty. For Step 1, I would suggest loading in with an exotic melee weapon. I knocked these challenges out pretty quickly by heading to a guild checkpoint, getting on top of the VTOL, and hoping I put enough damage to bring it down. I did, barely. I found a convoy, and why did they change the composition of the convoy? Who knows? But I grabbed the LTV with a turret, and I drove around to find some friendly guild enemies just hanging out in these crates or whatever they were doing, I don't know. A few dozen bullets later, and 20 of them were down. Scorestreak or equipment to take out an occupied vehicle. A rhino's kind of overkill, but it did the job. I thought I didn't get it for a second. I thought they'd hopped out, but it was quick work. On to Step 2. The actual challenge in this entire act has nothing to do with the stuff you have to do. It's the RNG of finding things like molotovs. I opened cache after cache, checkpoints, strong boxes, which I still call safe cracking, roadside salvages, anything I could find. But finally, I found a molotov. After that, it was pretty smooth sailing, right up until I got to the piloted needle drone kills. I thought this might be some ability I wasn't aware of, so I searched for it. No, it wasn't an ability. Apparently, if you hold your equipment deploy button, like you hold the button down, and then you press your melee button, the needle drone enters manual mode, which is piloting. Today, I learned this. Anyway, I sent it on to some enemies that I corralled, some zombies in Zone 3, and then we were all done. Step 3 takes us on to some more RNG challenges. I need to find 3 separate score streaks: a Gravemaker, a Rhino, and an RCXD. I find a Gravemaker, but I'd already looked ahead and I knew that I needed combat axes. I didn't have decoys, which I kind of depend on. They're a crutch. So I just had a little bit too much flinch, and so I had 4 of 5 Gravemaker kills. RCXDs are possibly the bane of my existence. I absolutely hate driving those things on keyboard. It took me a couple tries to get the required number of enemies, but I did get it. I found 2 of them. It wasn't a big deal. We knocked it out. Now on to kill 40 enemies with a Rhino score streak. Kind of a waste of a Rhino, but we got it done without much fanfare. The one challenge in this whole thing I thought would give me the most trouble, outside of just the pure RNG aspect, was the 50-meter combat axe. I was not sure I could hit it, but apparently I just have too little faith in my aim, or I got incredibly lucky because knocked that out with first try. The exotic melee knife makes kind of quick work of specialists in Zone 3, and the challenge of killing just 10 enemies rapidly was easy work. Like, this was probably the easiest thing I had to do the entire act. I probably did this the hard way, but I ended up jumping off of rooftops down in Lowtown to shoot 5 enemies while I was airborne. It worked. Don't worry about it. Just look away. For the infestors, I spent some time debating what the heck an infestor was, and it turns out it's a parasite that flies around. The only place that I could think of in Zone 4 that would kind of guarantee one was Faulkner's Island. So I ended up going there, shooting some flowers, and shoot some more flowers until finally I got one to spawn. Threw a combat axe at him, which I'm glad I held on to, and then that knocked that challenge out pretty easily. Killing 10 VTOL passengers before they deploy is quick work with Shatter Blast and whatever else I have, so I don't know, that wasn't even really a consideration. I thought Step 6 would be kind of tough, but it turned out to be pretty straightforward. So I picked up the portal grenade minor ability from just a random surprise shipment. I was just looking for things that I could use. And it did pretty much all the heavy lifting for this one. So it did triple duty in the step because it summons fears, which is, you have to get 20 kills with summoned fears or dogs or whatever. It counts as an ability. So while I was getting the 20 kills with the fears, it was counting for the 20 enemies eliminated with abilities. And then you're allowed to use abilities and equipment at the exfil. You just can't fire your weapon. So I used the portal grenade there as well. The only thing that went wrong during this step, I guess, is as I was boarding the VTOL to escape, I was actually questioning whether I just mindlessly pulled out my gun and fired it or not. So I was sweating it a little bit at the end, but luckily I hadn't pulled it out, so I completed this challenge without much fanfare. I had to develop a strategy for step 7, so I picked up C4 in the previous run. And then my plan was I was going to go into Zone 4, find a guild checkpoint, wait in the sniper tower for the reinforcement VTOL to show up, climb on top of it, throw down both C4s, detonate them for a decent chunk of damage, and then use the SoCal to finish them off with my larger mag on that gun, and hopefully get it done before the last enemy exited. It worked the first time, so perfect. That was a good strategy. Then it was grid takedown in 60 seconds. I've done this one in Lowtown, I don't even know how many times. So all you got to do is just run a straight line from the first thing you have to interact with, or first device, to the second one. Just duck underneath the stairs for cover from all those stupid aimbot robots, and I stuck around just in case it didn't count if you left, but I think it always counts as long as you activate those 2 devices. Guild checkpoints in Zone 4 only seem to have 5 enemies at any given time, or when they spawn, I guess. So as long as they're not playing hide and seek, the last challenge is pretty straightforward to get done before the reinforcements. All right, so step 8. This is my first time actually driving the Bloodburner since MWZ, and hopefully after this it's my last time driving the Bloodburner. I got pretty unlucky with the Oscar spawn up at Winery because it was inside that little garden. I ended up getting 0 kills. I fell off the Bloodburner, I guess. I didn't realize that if it flipped over, you were just done, or I don't know. Anyway, then since I didn't have a grapple and I had to run across the entire map. So I was cursing the entire time as I walked across and had no grapple and had no way to get there. But luckily they hadn't finished the strike by the time I got there, or the strike load or whatever, that's the first phase. And then the next guild strike, it spawned Oscar again, which I didn't know that was a thing. I just drove around, pushed fellow players around. I'm sorry about that, guys. I got all the kills I needed. Pretty low key, pretty easy. Now it's on to the hand cannon. What exactly counts as long range for the hand cannon? 20 meters, 30 meters, 50 meters, who knows? I just shot until I saw the check mark show up and called it a day there. The 2 enemies with 1 shot wasn't too hard. The only problem I had, I hit a couple of the armored zombies and it didn't 1-shot them, so I just had to shoot a few more times. Now on to the elites. That was quite the time suck. So the strategy is you wear them down until they're 1 or 2 shot, or as close as possible. Hope that you don't have fireworks go off or something to kill them, whatever happens there. So I did that, and then some random comes and pulls out a hand cannon and steals my kill. So thanks a lot for that, whoever you are. I will find you. Anyway, got 3 of them done, and I'm done with the act, almost done. All right, on to the glitch step, the prime target, step 10, whatever you want to call it. So terminal vector activity is the only thing I really have to do here, and then I'm on to the actual glitch fracture. So I learned that this is what all those lockdown imminent notices that I saw early on when I loaded in were all about. So I spawned in and flew directly to a surprise shipment down by the firing range. And I was hoping I would get a dog or a rhino, because that's, the only thing I could think of other than the random ones that spawn around. And luckily some random beat me there, or I guess a random beat me there anyway. And he killed the enemy that spawned. But he didn't pick up the key card. It was sitting on the ground. So I don't really mind if I do. I just picked it up and did what it said. So it marked a location for me. It was that Mimic building that's over by Lowtown in Zone 3. I ran around until I found a terminal, which I didn't recognize. I saw a bunch of those guild robots in their stationary phase or their non-deployed phase. Followed the instructions after activating the terminal. Some of them were a little confusing, but I really didn't care. I just killed anything that was outlined in pink for me. Then I had some random helpers show up mid-lockdown. We got it done. Now it's on to the glitch boss, which will be coming soon.